To increase your understanding, let's take a detailed look at what happens during gear retraction. Gear extension is the same process in reverse. We'll look firstly at the left main gear. The right main gear is similar. Then we'll cover the nose gear. Retracting the gear handle signals the PSEU and the solenoid selector valve to move to retract, and the door sequence valve to move to the aft position. Number 2 hydraulic pressure powers the main gear stabilizer strut actuator to retract, which releases the down lock, then the aft doors actuator to open. These doors are closed on ground. The doors sequence valve, as its name says, controls the opening and closing sequence of the aft and forward doors. The forward doors are not shown here. They are mechanically linked to the landing gear. Some hydraulic pressure bypasses the mechanical sequence valve and gives limited pressure to the actuator to retract the main gear. When the mechanical sequence valve opens fully, this pressure increases and the main gear retracts fully. The open side of the line is then pressurized to close the aft doors. Finally, the gear up locks engage. On the nose gear, the drag strut actuator releases the down locks. The forward doors actuator is pressurized to open, and the nose gear is partly pressurized through the restrictor to retract. As the doors open fully, the mechanical sequence valve allows increased pressure to fully retract the nose gear. Then the PSEU signals the door sequence valve to pressurize the closed side to close the doors. 4 seconds after the gears are up and locked, hydraulic pressure is removed from the whole landing gear system by de-energizing the landing gear selector valve. As you'd expect, the landing gear light sequence during retraction and extension is easier to follow than diagrams. With the gear down and locked, the green lights are illuminated. When you hold the lock release and select gear up, the red unsafe lights come on. The handle illuminates to show gear in transit, the amber door advisory lights come on, and the green down and locked lights go out. When the gear is safely up, the red lights and the gear handle go out, and the door lights should go out 1 to 2 seconds after the gear handle light goes out. During gear extension, you get the handle illuminating in transit, red unsafe lights on, and door lights on. Then, after about 6 seconds, the green down and locked lights should come on, and the unsafe lights should extinguish. The door light should go out 9 seconds after the gear was selected down. When the gear is not down and locked, a horn sounds to warn you of a possible gear up landing in the following conditions. Flaps selected 10 degrees or more, either engine torque below 50%, or both power levers below rating detent, or these conditions. It also sounds under these conditions. 1 power lever below flight idle plus 12 degrees, both power levers below rating detent, airspeed below 156 knots, and radio altitude below about 1,000 feet. Under conditions 1 and 2, the horn cannot be silenced until the gear is down and locked, but under conditions 3, the horn can be muted if only 1 power lever is retarded, even though the gear is not down and locked. If this light illuminates, or the gear fails to extend, you must use the alternate extension system, not the main system. Indicated airspeed must be below 185 knots. On the ceiling panel, move the inhibit switch to inhibit. Make sure that gear down is selected. This not only gives down and locked indications, but also anti-skid after touchdown. Check that the door lights come on. Open the alternate release door and pull the main gear release handle. The main gear will now partly extend by free fall. Next, open the floor alternate extension panel. If there is a nose gear problem, pull this handle. Because the nose gear deploys towards the rear, it will completely extend by free fall. Attach the hand pump handle and complete main gear extension manually. Note that there are down lock verification indicator lights. You activate them by setting this down lock verification switch on. After alternate extension, it's advisable to test the anti-skid system. Diagrammatically, this is how the alternate system works. If there are hydraulic problems, there will be only return pressure in the whole system. Moving the inhibit switch to inhibit prevents the selector valve from opening and so blocks number 2 hydraulic pressure. Opening the ceiling alternate release door moves the bypass valve so that all actuators are at return hydraulic pressure. Pulling the main gear handle releases the uplocks and the main gear aft doors. The hand pump completes main gear extension here. For the nose gear, pulling its handle mechanically releases the doors and uplocks. Gravity and aerodynamics does the rest.